must have been love, but it's over now. Listen to your heart. There's nothing else you can do. Spending my time. Every time you leave the room, I feel I'm fading.
Okay, let's grab our metaphorical hairspray and tune into the wild ride that was Roxette. Were they just that sweet Swedish duo who gave us the soundtrack to every 90s rom-com? Or was there more bubbling beneath the surface than meets the eye?
She's got the look.
Did their sudden, almost accidental trip to global stardom cause some backstage tension? And what about that moment when they hinted they might not always be the picture-perfect brother-sister act the world fell in love with? Let's peel back the layers. Now, before we get to the juicy bits, let's rewind just a little. Forget Hollywood. Our story starts in the rather less flashy, but musically buzzing town of Halmstad, Sweden, back in the 70s and 80s. While Sweden was busy giving the world Alba's shimmering pop and Europe's power ballads, a different kind of magic was brewing. Enter Marie Fredriksson, born May 30th, 1958, a powerhouse vocalist, already making a name for herself in the local scene. And Per Gessle, born January 12, 1959, a clever songwriter and guitarist with his own successful band, Julian Teeter. They were friends first, jamming and performing, sensing that together they had something special. And in 1986, they made it official, forming Roxette. The name? Apparently, Per just stumbled upon it in a school book. Sometimes destiny just taps you on the shoulder, doesn't it? Their debut album, Pearls of Passion, did well in Sweden, proving they were more than just a local act. But the international stage? Not quite yet. It was like they were dressed for success, but the world hadn't gotten the memo.
Going to find line and never-ending love.
Then came 1988, and their second album, Look Sharp. This album was a game changer, a glorious explosion of pop hooks and rock energy. An American exchange student studying in Sweden heard The Look, loved it so much, he took the album back to Minneapolis and practically begged a local radio station to play it. And just like that, seemingly overnight, The Look blew up. It wasn't planned. It was pure, unadulterated kismet.
She's got the look. She's got the look. She's got the look.
Suddenly, this Swedish duo nobody outside of Scandinavia had heard of was topping charts in the US, the UK, and everywhere in between.
And I don't know why, but listen to your heart. Leave the winter on the ground.
Then came 1991 and the album Joyride. If Look Sharp was the breakthrough, Joyride was the victory lap, selling over 11 million copies worldwide. The title track, inspired by Per's girlfriend leaving him a note saying, "Listen to your heart, join the joyride," became another global smash. Fading Like a Flower and Spending My Time proved their ballad power was no fluke.
Spending my time.
They were at the absolute peak of their powers, touring the world, playing to millions, and living that rock and roll dream. It seemed like nothing could stop the Roxette Express. But as we know, life and fame rarely stay on a smooth track forever. Remember that glossy brother-sister image? Well, during their mammoth Joyride tour, covering something like 107 shows across the globe, the cracks started to show, as they sometimes do under immense pressure. On their Live-ism DVD, filmed during that tour, there were some rather telling moments.
We haven't been to Asia. We want
No.
to go to Asia.
Little place we haven't been in.
Saigon.
Fans dissected every comment. Maria purportedly joked about Per's singing sometimes being a bit off-key, while Per didn't exactly shower Marie with compliments either. Was it just exhaustion? Was it the strain of being constantly in each other's pockets? It wasn't a band-breaking feud, mind you, but it did hint that the relentless pressure of touring the world might have frayed those seemingly unbreakable Swedish pop bonds just a little.
It's just that we were a little bit tired of Per and Marie and Roxette. We want to go back to
to be
Marine
yourself. And
private.
Then there was that little kerfuffle in 2011 when a Norwegian band called Hollywood Vampires popped up, accusing Roxette of plagiarizing parts of their song She Had Nothing On But the Radio for Roxette's track She's Got Nothing On But the Radio. The band claimed similarities in the chorus lyrics, rhythm, and even chords.
She's got nothing on but the radio.
Now, was this a genuine case of uncanny resemblance? Or was it, shall we say, a smaller band trying to catch a little bit of that Roxette spotlight? The general consensus? The similarities were minimal, likely coincidental.
She had nothing on but the radio.
So while you won't find Roxette trashing hotel rooms or getting arrested for public indecency, the pressures of global fame, years on the road, and the inherent complexities of any long-term creative partnership certainly provided their own brand of behind-the-scenes drama. It wasn't always just sunshine and June afternoon vibes. But the biggest challenge, the most heartbreaking chapter in the Roxette story, wasn't about chart positions or creative spats. It was a very real, very terrifying battle for life itself. In 2002, the music world, and especially Roxette fans, were stunned by the news that Marie Fredriksson had been diagnosed with a brain tumor.
I'm not dead. When I was very, very ill, it was we were very afraid.
This forced Marie to step away from music completely to focus on treatment. It was a dark and uncertain time. Doctors gave her a grim prognosis, with some reports suggesting she had only a short time to live. The physical toll of the tumor and the subsequent aggressive treatment, surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, was immense. Marie lost the ability to read and count, suffered significant vision loss in one eye, and experienced hearing and mobility issues. For a performer whose voice and stage presence were so vital, these were devastating blows.
She withdrew from public life and turned to painting as she underwent extensive rehabilitation.
It was a time when the music had to stop. The global tours were a distant memory, and the focus was solely on survival. But Marie Fredriksson was a fighter, and in a truly remarkable display of strength and resilience, Marie did recover. While the illness left permanent effects, she defied the odds, and then, incredibly, she wanted to sing again.
But 7 years later, in 2009, she surprised an audience at a solo performance by Gessle in Amsterdam.
In 2009, after years away, Roxette reunited for a performance, and their response was overwhelming. However, the fight was ongoing. By 2016, after doctors advised her that touring was no longer possible due to her health, Roxette sadly announced their permanent retirement from the road. It was the end of an era, a decision driven by the brutal reality of Marie's long-term health challenges. 4 years later, on December 9th, 2019, Marie Fredriksson passed away at the age of 61 due to complications from her brain tumor. The world mourned the loss of a unique voice and an incredibly brave soul.
Remembering Roxette singer Marie Fredriksson, who sadly lost her long battle with brain cancer.
So, after selling over 75 million records worldwide and becoming one of Sweden's most successful exports, second only to ABBA, of course, what kind of fortune did the Roxette phenomenon amass? While pinpointing exact figures for musicians can be like trying to catch smoke, estimates for Roxette's total record sales and touring revenue place their collective earnings in the very comfortable, if not astronomical range. Estimates for per Gessle's net worth vary, but figures often cited are in the tens of millions of US dollars, potentially ranging higher when considering assets like his stake in Hotel Tylösand in Halmstad and his car collection. Marie Fredriksson also had a successful solo career in Sweden and earned considerably from Roxette. While a precise joint net worth at their peak is difficult to state, it's safe to say they were doing far, far better than struggling musicians. So, where are we now? While the original Roxette duo sadly can no longer perform together following Marie's passing, the music lives on. Per Gessle remains incredibly active. He continues to release solo material, manage the extensive Roxette back catalog with archive releases, and has even embarked on a new project, Roxette in Concert, featuring himself and Swedish singer Lena Philipsson performing Roxette's hits live. As Per puts it, Lena isn't replacing Marie, but rather helping to keep these beloved songs alive for the fans. From a lucky break in Minnesota to global domination through creative tensions and a life-altering health battle, the story of Roxette is a fascinating mix of talent, timing, resilience, and unforgettable pop music. They came, they saw, they conquered the charts, and they left a musical legacy that continues to play on radios and playlists worldwide. And that, my friends, is the real look of success.